Hello everyone, right, we are carrying on with the language paper. We've moved on to question 5. This is massive. This is 40 marks, half of my overall marks for the paper. This is super important. So we're going to spend a fair few lessons making sure we're really comfortable with it. We know what we're getting marks for. We understand how to be successful. Right. Okay, so this is the creative writing question. You will get a choice of 2 tasks. One is usually an image for you to describe, and the other is often a narrative task for you to produce a story or part of a story. Strangely, this is probably the only question in English where you don't have to focus hugely on the question. Really, they're just a stimulus to get you to do a bit of creative writing, and AQA just want to see how well you can write. So as long as there's some loose reference to one of the tasks, you're absolutely not going to lose any marks. And that gives you the scope to be really creative and write about something that interests you, maybe something that you thought about in advance. Okay, here's an example of what it would look like. So there's often an online competition for a story. Disclaimer, the prize is a GCSE, better than winning a story competition really. But this one is write a story set in a mountainous area suggested by this picture. As long as I'd made some reference to something in that image, I could then go off and do whatever I wanted. Or write a story with the title Discovery. Very vague, pretty much do whatever I want. It's double marks, so I get 24 marks for my content and my organisation and 16 marks for that technical accuracy, that's that SPAG that's coming in. Okay, what's my number one priority? You'll have probably heard me say this before. I make no apologies for being repetitive about this. The number one priority is that your writing is clear all the way through. There is nothing more important for you to focus on than making sure your writing is clear. That means stopping regularly, rereading what I've written, making sure I'm not making little errors as I'm rushing too quickly, making sure that I'm really confident when I leave my exam that that piece of writing is as clear as I could make it be. Your examiner is told to read through your full response before they even start to award a grade, think about annotating anything. And then all they're thinking as they're reading that initial reading is this clear? Now, if it is clear all the way through, you are likely to get yourself a grade 5 or above, even if the story isn't that brilliant, even if the description isn't great. If it is clear, you are likely to find yourself with a grade 5. If it's not clear, even if you've used some lovely language features, some lovely structural features, some fantastic vocab, you are still not going to be getting above a grade 4. So I cannot stress this enough. Number one priority has to be clarity. Right, what else are we looking for? So we're looking for lots of things, but I've managed to reduce it down to some things that I think are really worth focusing on, and that's going to be the focus of the next few lessons. So the first thing is ambitious vocab. That's in blue because you're going to look at that today. You're going to do quite a lot of research, quite independent for these final tasks. We're just thinking about trying to make sure that our vocabulary is as broad and interesting as we can make it. Other things we need to think about is how we structure our text, so we're going to do a lesson on that. Using a range of language techniques, language features, similes, metaphors, personification, zoomorphism, those kind of things. Varying our sentence structures and also how they start, keeping them really varied all the way through, and using a range of punctuation with a high level of accuracy. And that's what we're going to spend the next few lessons really concentrating on. So here's Grumpy Cat. Some things that I really do not want to see and that your examiner really does not want to see. I don't want you to feel that you've got to write a whole story. You're not going to write a whole story in 45 minutes that's going to be good and clear and crafted and thoughtful. You're probably just going to write the opening to the story. It does not need to be a complete start, middle, end, and that's it. Not interested in that. Thinking they need to write a lot. Massive mistake, but really, really common. Some people write 12 pages. They're filling up that exam booklet. You are just making it harder for you to be clear. It is absolutely fine for you to be aiming for 3 sides in your exam booklet. Now that's around 2 sides of A4. That's all you're looking for. in 45 minutes. Do not write too much. It will not benefit you. Making things overly dramatic. This is for boys. I'm making generalisations. This is the boys. No high-speed car chases. No helicopters. You're not a spy. There aren't any zombies. You're not going to be bitten by a vampire. We don't want any of that. It's too dramatic. You get too fixated on writing this dramatic story, but you're not concentrating on the quality of your writing. Try to use clever words when you're not sure what they mean. That's going to affect your clarity. If you've got a word that you really want to use, you need to make sure that you absolutely know that that word works in that context. If it doesn't, or if you're not sure, leave it out. All action, no description. You're likely to do that if you find yourself trying to do a whole story, or you're trying to be a spy or a vampire slayer or whatever. And then the last one, and I'll be honest, this is a real bugbear of mine. Writing some kind of dramatic story and then at the end, and then I woke up and it was all just a dream. No, it is never just a dream. Okay, so we're moving on to the 3 tasks that you've got for this lesson. So the first one is about colours. Now, having a range of words that you can use to describe colours is a really easy way of having that interesting, ambitious vocab. So in that blue box, there are many, many, many colours. All I want you to do is any that you don't know, you're just going to get your phone out, use the internet, check what colour it is, and then I would like you to create a table where you categorise all the colours. So you put all the blue words together, all the green words together, and so on and so forth. And that's a really useful resource to just have, so that we're expanding our vocabulary, that we're always going to want to write about colour. So it's really an easy one to do. Right, the second task that you're going to do is, in the blue box here are a series of words that we might use to describe emotions, how somebody's feeling. Now, I want you to just go through the box and pick 3 that you don't know. Just any 3. You don't know what they are. You think, oh, that looks interesting. You're just going to find 3 of them, define them, do this in your books, do this on paper. Let's just get some definitions. And then lastly, these are interesting adjectives. I've decided that's what I'm going to call them. They're interesting adjectives. Again, go through which ones don't you know, choose 5 and define those words. Try and look at some detail at how that would work in a sentence so that you feel really confident that you understand exactly how you could use that word. And then the last thing for today, we've got that lovely image there on that slide, and I want you to write 1 paragraph where you describe that image using at least 5 of your new words, and they can be any words that you like. You're probably going to make use of lots of these colour words. I'm not going to ask for anything to be submitted today, but it's definitely a process worth doing. You need to get really comfortable with writing, drafting, thinking about your creative writing in detail. As ever, if you are stuck on anything, please let me know. I'm more than happy to help. Hope you're all okay.